Hi, my name is Tyler McCurry, and this is my presentation on virtual reality for autism spectrum disorder and adulthood. Autism is a disorder that affects millions of individuals. People with ASD face disadvantage throughout life because the disorder often causes issues with executive functioning, social cognition, and sensory perception. The disorder affects people differently, whether it's how much it affects them or if it affects them more in different areas than others, but everyone is different. For this project, I wanted to focus on the transition into adulthood for people with autism and the ability to focus on a specific errand or task without feeling overwhelmed by their environment. The solution I came up with is a suite of virtual reality experiences based on environments in which a person often faces the possibility of interacting with multiple people while completing a common errand or task. This includes going to the post office, bank, restaurants, grocery stores, and a lot more. Now, creating a suite of virtual reality experiences like this is too large of a scope for the project, so I decided to just do a grocery store. To aid people with autism in the transition into adulthood, I built a virtual reality grocery store experience that allows users to reason about where items are located, practice social skills, and cope with an environment that can be overwhelming to individuals with autism. As mentioned before, one of the main areas that can be affected by autism is executive functioning. This includes initiation, inhibition, flexibility, working memory, organization, planning, and self-monitoring. I incorporated executive functioning into the project as follows. For initiation, organization, working memory, and self-monitoring, I used a grocery list to keep track of what items are needed, what is in the cart, and what has been added that was not originally on the list. For flexibility, I randomized the order of the list so items are not in the same order as the aisles. Not only did I randomize it this way, but it's also a different list every time the user retries the experience. For planning, I encourage the users to shop with a list and a cart in real life by requiring them in the project. This encourages the user to create a list before going shopping and plan out what they're going to buy. As for the cart, it's better to have a cart and not need one than to need a cart and not have one. There is also some social interaction in the project. There are employees in red vests that the user can approach to ask a question. Once they're in proximity to the employee, they can point to an item on the list and the employee will show them where the item is. If the user falls behind too far from the employee, they will stop and wait for the user and continue. Once the employee is close to the item, they will stop and the user can then grab the item. Once the user puts the item in the cart, the employee will go back to what they were doing. Besides these employees, which are actually helper bots in the project, there are also other shoppers as well. These other shoppers will enter the grocery store, grab a cart, find items they're looking for, check out, and exit, all while the user is navigating the experience. They will also avoid running into the user. Having these other shoppers in the experience should get the person used to seeing other people around them without feeling overwhelmed. The amount of shoppers increases as the difficulty does. The largest limitation I faced was the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Because of this and the Illinois stay-at-home order, I was unable to test with an actual user that has autism. Next, I will demo the project. As you'll see at the start, the user will see that the experience is being prepared. Meanwhile, on another monitor, the instructor is able to select a difficulty and start the project. Because it's easier to show on one monitor, I decided to demo the project inside the Unity editor. As stated before, the user will just see that the experience is being prepared. On another screen, the instructor will select difficulty and click Start. The user will then be put inside the grocery store with carts on their right. They'll be instructed to grab a cart and will also see on the right hand that it says to pick up, use the trigger. They will then also see a grocery list as well as directions on how to teleport throughout the grocery store. Now they can teleport anywhere except through walls and through items. As you can see, there are also bots going around and shopping. They will be picking up actual items and checking out themselves. And the red vest in the middle of the screen is a helper bot. Helper bots can be asked where things are. The user right now is demoing the sign highlighting feature. By clicking different items, different signs will highlight as you go through each item. Each sign throughout the grocery store will highlight for the correct item. So right now they're going to highlight where a pear is that says vegetables, but on the other side it also says fruit. Right now the user is picking up a pear and putting it in the grocery cart. When they put it in, pear will be crossed off of the list. Now the user is going to ask the helper bot for help. They just clicked on chips, and now they're following the helper bot throughout the grocery store. When they're too far away, the helper bot will stop, and once the bot is close enough to the chips, it will also stop. Once they put the chips in the cart, it'll be crossed off, and the helper bot will leave and go back to where they were. So now the user can go back and find the helper bot and select another item. Right now they're selecting coffee. Once they select coffee, the bot will go back, and coffee has a quantity of 2, so it'll go to just 1. And once they pick up another one, coffee will be crossed off. As you can see, bots are picking up actual items and checking out. There are only a few bots right now, but that's because we selected easy mode. When medium or hard mode are selected, they both increase the bot amount. Another thing that changes with difficulty is selecting the list. You cannot do sign highlighting on hard mode. And that concludes the grocery store demo. Thank you.